Welcome to Instant Discussions. We are delving.
Welcome to John Has a Beard Now.
We are delving into the American film history portion of our Instant Discussions talk as we discuss Dr. Strangelove,
American History Expo,
or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Which I still don't get why it's called Dr. Strangelove, but we can talk about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Let's first talk about this 1967 British-American black comedy, which satirizes the nuclear scare of the 1950s through today.
In the butt?
Really?
Oh, satirizes. Okay.
Satirizes, yes. Satirical. Pokes fun at.
it was satirical?
Yes.
I thought it was
It was actually based off
historical nonfiction.
Yeah, it kind of is based off of historical nonfiction, and then kind of takes a crazy turn on that one.
Oh, it's heavy in satire to me.
Very interesting that it starts off with this could never happen. There are security measures in place that this wouldn't happen. This is fictitious. Don't think of this as some sort of War of the Worlds broadcast. This is not true.
Oh, I forget. War of the Worlds.
Which also had the thing at the beginning of it that said this is fictitious. It's just people tuned in too late and didn't see that. But anyway, interesting that it would put that on there.
Well, 64, I guess.
Yeah, you get it. Hey, you got it. People are scared at this time. You see this
Red
video
Scare and McCarthyism.
If you don't know that thing beforehand, and then they say they're talking about, oh, in Plan R, this happens, where this can happen, and this whole nuclear holocaust could happen because of this. And so people could watch that movie and say, holy shit, is this true? Could this actually happen? And then they'd get completely freaked out. So you've got to put that scroll at the beginning to say, there are measures in place, this wouldn't happen, this is a theoretical kind of thing, just to talk about this subject. But everyone knows that was put in front of there as a precautionary measure just to make people not panic because it actually could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the government likes to do that.
America.
All right, so, Tony, you picked this movie?
Yep.
Not going to name any names, Tony.
Yep. Tony, this is interesting because you picked a black and white film. You picked a black and white film from 1964.
African American and Caucasian film.
Yep, black comedy.
Yeah.
And like I said last
It's
time,
blaxploitation.
I watched it because I didn't think there was any good black and white movies, and then I found a list, and this was on there, along with
The
Citizen
actually
Kane.
good black and white
Yeah.
films.
Because there's a lot of horseshit black and white
Because
films.
Tony doesn't like the artist.
You know what's interesting? I bet you there are more horrible films that are in color than there are horrible films in black and white. Because they've
You don't
made
like Charlie Chaplin?
more films now.
Buster Keaton?
Charlie Chaplin's fine.
I think we could find lists of lots of great ones. Like, we find all the good ones. But, no, you were right. There are lots of films in black and white that are bad. In addition
At least
to
that I
lots of
didn't
films in color.
enjoy when I would watch them with my family members.
Okay.
There are just lots of films that are bad.
But this, when I first saw
we're
this
here to
movie,
talk about good films.
I was like, "This
Yeah.
is amazing!" Like the first, I couldn't believe how good it was. And then to find out, the year that it was made, I was like, "This is good stuff." And
Yeah.
it's
Well, when you think of, like, the best cinema, especially when you're growing up, first, when you're a kid, you like the stuff that's made at that time. Whatever you're introduced to, which a lot of times you're introduced to stuff of that time. And then sometimes you have cool parents that grow up watching films that are from older times.
Freddie.
Especially with, our generation and around it where we grew up with home video, which really helps. But in the generations before us, they have to grow up with watching whatever's in theaters.
Yeah.
Or what's on TV once they had that, and then they'd replay certain films on TV all throughout the year. Say, oh, we're going to play Wizard of Oz this time of year and play that. So you get introduced to older films that way. But either way.
It was never, let's
Takes
play
a while
Dr.
to use
Strangelove for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, not in your family.
Until the advent of the Turner Classic Movies channel and AMC, all those channels that would play classic movies.
Yeah.
I think Turner Classic Movies is how I first saw this one. And every time it would come on, I would turn it on and watch it. This one and like two other movies that every time they would come on, I would watch them and just love them.
Yeah,
and
Weekend at Bernie's.
then eventually had to buy them. Yeah, of course.
And part 2.
Yeah, very. So you picked it because it was the black and white film that you actually liked.
Yeah, one of the first ones.
And the first time you saw this was in a film history class.
Then I fell asleep to
You
it.
fell asleep.
Because I was really tired.
Yeah.
Because I got no sleep the night before.
Yeah.
That's what happens when they turn the lights off and put on a black and white quiet
How
film.
dare you?
It's not that
It's not
quiet.
that quiet. It doesn't get loud.
When they start yelling and shooting guns.
Later.
The beginning, yeah. But the beginning...
That
I was
was
trying to
enough.
sleep to it recently, and it's hearing the guns go off. Like, no.
Yeah.
That was enough time for me to go, and I'm out.
Yeah. So What's
Best parts? The worst
yeah,
parts? Is that where we're at?
best thing about the movie?
Jeez.
I know.
So many good parts. There's only one part I don't like, and the good parts, I just love the satire. Like,
Yes.
it's just hilarious. I love that it's like stereotypical American. Like, just the general dude. Like, it just. It was just great.
I like the theories behind the warring countries and how, if you do this, then they do this as retaliation. What sets it off, and the idea of this Cold War going on for a long time. So the one general decides, if we just get this attack out first, and catch them off guard because we're in this kind of stalemate thing, then we could end this war. We can win this one just by attacking them. And he's just tired of politicians having control over all of these wars, and he just wants to get it over with. And then that leading into this chain reaction of, you don't know that they've got this doomsday device, so they're actually going to destroy us. Well, now we have to stop then, or else we're going to completely lose. And it's that whole the whole story and the plot.
Yeah, you know what? After you talking right now, I realized my favorite part is where the general, his explanations for everything was like, well, obviously it's because of this, and it's like. It's just so silly.
George C. Scott's
but it's so realistic. Like you deal with, like, for me at work, I see the red tape bullshit, and it's very plausible.
Yeah. Well, it's all it takes. All it takes is that one contingency plan that they have. That's if the White House gets taken out, then these generals can take over and give these orders.
Yeah.
Now the people flying the planes don't understand. They are not. They hear the one signal that says, go to Plan R, and Plan R says all this, and now we can't trust anything we hear from the government now. We have to have it leading this prefix before we can do it. It's very secretive. We understand this because, we can't call back to confirm. We're going to, they try, but they can't get hold of them. So, we just have to go about our orders and do this in case that actually happened. They don't know that it didn't happen, but that contingency plan's in place to safeguard the country for that. And it's that what if they do this, and then that happens back, and then, we can't call them back. I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you just stop the doomsday device? We just apologize for what's about to happen right now. Can you? That beautiful as it happens. But I think, all right, so that I really love that about the movie, and that keeps me going back to it. But in my first times watching this, I think one of my favorite things is Peter Sellers, and
Peter Sellers.
The three roles that he plays and the variety of those three roles.
Yeah.
How different they are from each other.
What's the third one?
Okay, so which ones do you know?
Which ones do you know, yeah.
There's these guys.
Okay.
The picture is on there.
Yeah, so we've got Dr. Strangelove, the title character.
It's not him, is it?
Yep.
He's the British dude?
The British guy. He's the British guy, the president, and the officer there. Now, he is British, so that was kind of the easier kind of accent for him to do.
Huh.
That's kind of the closest to his role in the Pink Panther as Inspector Clouseau. Kind of reminds me most of that one. So the original Pink Panther, not the Steve Martin one, but yeah. But Dr. Strangelove, the title character in this, which we'll get into. We'll talk more about that I guess later there. But I love his characters. I love the range that he does in them. That was what first drew me to this movie. I think of what made me do the repeat viewing of it. But I think today my favorite thing has got to be just the plot and the way the puzzle fits together and all of that. It's just so.
It is really, really well constructed.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that part of that probably comes from the book that it's based on, but then I'd have to actually go and read Red Alert, also known as 2 Hours to Doom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for me, this time I'm going to pick a moment in the film, and that was when the president calls Russia. Who's it?
Oh, this is your first time completely watching the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love when he calls Russia.
And he's like,
now,
no,
Dimitri.
I trust you, Dimitri. No, I'm trying to be helpful, Dimitri.
He's like, well, of course I care about you.
Of course I care.
Come on,
if I didn't care, I wouldn't be calling.
Satan, why?
Yeah. And then and then he's just sitting there with everybody else on the phone, just seriously completely serious, strict face, just listening to this conversation.
That kind of parallels to the earlier call that George C. Scott takes as soon as he gets into the war room. And his wife or mistress or whatever, secretary. Calls him up, and he's just like, "No, baby, I'm gonna. Come on, I'll be back there." Just taking his little call, it's just this one little thing we got to take care of.
Yeah.
That's kind of the most tragic part of the film. And rewatching it was, I hadn't thought about her waiting there for him. In the other times of watching this one, and thinking about that this time, and
Like
knowing
like Airplane, the taxi guy at the end.
well, but the taxi guy, like, he might, I don't know, someone will actually come back to it. But this one, with the world being destroyed at the end of that one, it's this.
Was it destroyed though?
Yeah, it was pretty much destroyed. Doomsday device went off. They're all
What if
dead.
it was bullshit though, like they were saying?
It wasn't. We saw it happen.
It was just a.
It happened.
Like little
montage. It happened.
It
That's why I love it too. It's my favorite ending of a movie. It's the way I like to end any story I can. Is
kill everyone. Make a sequel.
Yep. Time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Worst parts. You had a worse thing.
There's one part that I wish they didn't have, and it's a stupid Doctor Strangelove and his little Nazi arm. That was fucking horrible.
No.
He's like, I was like, really?
But the whole thing's based off of the German scientists being brought back after World
That's
War
fine.
II.
And I understood that when he said Mein Führer twice. He didn't have to do the, like, holding his arm down and, like, trying to push it back and fight it for, like, at the end. Yeah.
that was
fucking
the more the
stupid.
stakes are raised as it goes on, the comedy gets wackier in it. Like, the comedy starts out kind of subtle comedy, joke here or there, but as the tension raises in the plot and the closer they get to Doom, and how are they going to do that, the comedy then gets wackier, especially through Doctor Strangelove.
That was too much. I didn't like that.
Okay, I can understand that it does. It's very different from a lot of the rest
I
of the
can agree
film.
with you there, Tony.
All right.
Definitely that was too much.
Like, a little bit of it, like, as if he forgot is good, but they went way overboard for me.
Aw, that makes me sad. It's the whole cover of the thing there. It's kind of choke 'em
I
out.
actually like the other cover that they have. It reminds me of,
the
like,
classic,
a German Blitzkrieg.
That's like the classic cover of it, which we got over here too.
I think they're supposed to be mocking, like, the German Blitzkrieg posters, I think.
Maybe. Excuse me. I like it.
And your worst?
I don't think I can
I think
think of.
I don't know if I want to say there's a worst moment, but it's not even this film that gets the worst thing. It's that society makes this more tangibly real. That I didn't find it funny for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, no, this is just okay. This is as how screwed up things are. Yeah, I get. Oh no, this is a. Oh, okay, this is a parody.
It's a parody, but it also
Got it.
it is how screwed up things are. It's
So I blame America.
America.
Thanks, Obama.
I don't know. When I was younger, or the earlier times watching this movie, I didn't really care for the stuff with the general who launched the attack in the first place, who started the whole thing with his preservation of our natural fluids and all that.
Character.
So when I was younger, that part was more boring to me. But in later watchings, now I absolutely love it. And, I mean, that's the whole crucial thing. I don't think I understood the plot as well in my first time watching it.
Do you know what fluoride is?
Kid.
He's like, I drink fluoride all the time.
Preservation of our precious fluids. We'll figure out what that last part means.
Well, I give it 5 stars, in case you're wondering.
Me too.
5 motherfucking stars.
5 stars. It's been 5 stars since I first saw it, and it's always 5 stars for me.
The only thing that could make it better is just a little less of the hand thing. And
Yeah.
it would be like, seriously, for me
I
like
love
a
it.
perfect movie. Like,
For me, I love
almost
that
close
stuff,
to a
so,
perfect movie.
Okay, I understand it though. I love me some Doctor Strangelove. It's cool. It's a cool guy. Of course, with the
It was such a corny
so it has
accent,
to
too.
be,
It was pretty corny accent,
large
too.
number of females for every male.
That was a great idea.
That's a good idea.
I thought everybody changed their mind. They're like,
Oh,
Everybody quiets
multiple
down.
partners there.
We have to, of course, include all of our government officials.
and they can only be attractive. I was like,
yeah. Well, I
We have to
mean,
be the most sexually stimulating because we'd have to do 10 to 1.
oh, Nazis! Nazis are funny. So, what'd you give it?
I'm not a 5.
turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah, I'm a turd in the punch bowl, alright. I'll stir it up too.
Oh, God.
Keep going.
Alright,
Don't worry, they won't see the vomit. It'll blend in with the green screen.
got it. Let's get some Mountain Dew. Soon to be Baja Blast. Already.
blue one?
Baja Blast.
So what
Yeah.
do you give it?
I'm torn on it, actually.
Like a butthole.
Whether I should give it a 0 or a 1.
You can't give zeros.
What?
I'm actually torn between a 3 and a 4,
Oh, wow.
So
3
4
and a
stars,
4.
eh?
which I know is bizarre for people to hear that about this film, but it's really just that it's going back to that one, that my worst point thing again is that, you know, while it was realistic because of like what things awful things that happened, but then it's also the height of that movies now take things to, that it was the mixture of both of those things where it's just like, okay, the fact that this is so heightened and so much like craziness is going on can be realistic for film and can be like more captured in film, and then it was a double-edged thing that attacked that. And I think that if I watched it without that and like more knowledge and like maybe in the time, it would have definitely been one of the best movies ever for me. So I feel like that's silly. So it's hard to decide.
Okay.
Between a 3 and a 4, it really is.
So, are you?
I mean, I'd give it 4 for like all the reasons that I could see that it's really well constructed and that it really wasn't a really amazing film that was for the time and all that, and the parody,
for now, though.
the satire is amazing.
That's definitely a great one that holds up.
Yeah.
From the 60s. So we'll talk more about it in our extended.
Yeah.
But for right now, next
What's
week.
I chose John's Growing a Beard.
How dare you?
Oh.
This is my pick. Yeah, I
Big ol' bushy
there's so many
beard.
like great ones I've been wanting to pick.
Don't point
that are really good. There are a lot of great ones that I wanted to pick, but I don't know. I felt like we've been having such good movies recently.
Oh.
I wanted to pick one that's going to that's a good chance of causing a lot of discussion to talk about whether it was good or not, whether it's a film or not, and
Okay.
well, anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it,
The
but
homosexual take on Irreversible.
kind of. This movie,
Don't say Human Centipede.
if you loved Irreversible, you'll love a little movie called Antichrist. You haven't heard of it?
Mm-mm.
You
Good.
didn't say Human Centipede.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure Human Centipede could be tolerated by a lot more people than Antichrist can. All right, so check out Antichrist. Don't look up, don't read the description or anything. I
It's
think
like
it's most beautiful.
Human
to just hit
Centipede
play.
meets Old Boy.
I mean,
meets Irreversible.
you can joke all you want now, but next week we're going to have a big steaming bowl of Antichrist.
Yay!
I'll bring in the bucket of puke that I've puked.
Well, thank you for watching, and we'll talk more, follow us in our continued discussion next.